Hello, I am Maureen. Join me on The Sprouts, a platform for agriculture and industrialization on UBC TV. Learn, innovate knowledge and practical skills as we transform our agriculture produce into high-value products on The Sprouts. Hello, I'm Maureen Akatukunda. I welcome you to The Sprout on UBC TV, and today we are looking at soya bean farming. For me, I refer to it as a golden seed because of the so many values that come with this product. We are going to look at what happens in the garden. How do we prepare this garden for soya bean? What happens when it comes to harvesting? How do we handle our crop? And so much more as the experts and farmers will be sharing with us. Come with me in Namutumba district, Ivukula sub-country, 200 kilometers from the city, where we are going to learn so much more about our golden seed. I am privileged to have one of the officers supporting farmers and community members to guide them on what best they can do to bring out the best product for our soya bean. Kindly introduce yourself and tell us the role you play in this great activity and how best you have tried to improve this community, especially when it comes to soya bean farming.
I'm also happy that you have come to document our activities. My name is Ojikan Paul. I work as an agronomist and the craft project supported by SNV in partnership with SESACO. SESACO is a company that adds value to the soya bean that smallholder farmers we are working with produce. Here we have a group in Ivukula in Namutumba district that we are working with, and it is founded by women. They are involved in soybean production and marketing. What happens under this project is that we train these farmers in climate smart agriculture while working with the soybean value chain. When we train them, we take into consideration the element of climate smart agriculture. We take into consideration the element of farmer field schools approach. Under farmer field schools approach, farmers discover their own problems in the field. They learn from the farm and make their own decisions. So for us as extensionists, we just empower them. After empowering them, we allow them to carry on with their activities, but in a commercial kind of arrangement where we guarantee market as SESACO. So we give them seed, improved seed that we get from Makerere University. This is a seed that suits our products that we produce. So that seed is grown by them, transformed into grain, and that grain is aggregated at this store, and once it's ready, we then pick it and take it to the factory for processing, and then packaging, then marketing.
Okay.
Right now here, this is an harvest for season A of 2020. They are cleaning it up, but with a lot of challenges. The cleaning takes a little bit more time because, just like you see, they are using their hands. But if it was machines, like we have, there are technologies that are being developed by some other service providers who can help to simplify this kind of process. things like threshers. Threshers allow you to harvest your crop, the soybean, from the farm and feed it into the thresher, the machine. Then it threshes it, and you come from the farm with clean seed,
Okay.
without any stone, without any matter. But the seed, the crop must be ready, mature enough to be removed from the farm. So these farmers are facing a very big challenge in accessing those technologies, especially those threshing machines. They are very expensive for them. So that's where we have a problem. And that provides issues of delays to deliver the product to the farm, to the factory.
So you talked about the grain that is developed at Makerere University.
The seed.
The seed.
Yes.
How does it look like?
The seed looks like this one. This is purely Maxoy 5N seed, which is very clean. You can see the grain the way it is. It has no any green matter. It doesn't have any stones, and it's the viable seed.
Okay.
Yes.
So how does the outcome of this product look like, the seed,
After
growing?
After growing, this is a fairly cleaned product. I can say harvest
Yes.
that the farmers have tried to clean to this standard, ready for us to come and pick. But it's not almost 90% clean. We still have to re-clean it when it reaches the factory.
Okay.
So that's the challenge. And that makes our products also become more expensive because the costs involved again.
Oh.
Yes.
Soybean is the most nutritious crop in the world, containing approximately 40% protein and 20% oil, both of which are vital in human and animal diet. With the available technology for processing soybeans at industrial and household level, soybean has become one of the most promising food groups available to improve diets of millions of people in the world.
So we are privileged on the Sprouts to be in Mama's garden, and she's going to tell us what she has grown here. Of course, we know it is the golden bean, like I always refer to it, but I would like to hear from her. What is this in her garden? And so much more we need to know about soybean farming.
Yeah.
So, Mama, what is this?
This is soya bean. Soya bean, soya Mark 3. Because all along we have been growing sugar canes and maize, but it has given us hard time
Okay.
to access seed for sugar canes and the maize. There is that striker which has contributed to low production of maize, and in fact, the poverty level still goes down as far as the economic stand is concerned. Yes.
So, what motivates you as mothers, as ladies, generally as families, to change from sugarcane farming to soybean? Because on my way here, I observed that most of our people had a culture of growing sugarcane, and they have been complaining that it takes almost 2 years for them to harvest, and after harvesting, they face so many challenges. In that, at the end of the day, someone harvests and gets so little out of the entire produce. But then, what is unique about soybean farming? What is your experience like?
My experience is with the soybean, you can grow on small scale, or you can grow it on a small piece of land. But with the sugarcane, when you have to get some money, you need to have acres and acres, where it is impossible for, like me, to access those acres to grow what? Sugar canes. And another thing, soybean is proteinous. It is both food. You can use it for in many areas. You can use it as snacks, you can make sauce from it, you can even add in maize and get portion.
What are the indicators that our crop is now ready for harvesting?
Before, this crop, it has the leaves like the other one.
Okay.
They have
are
leaves.
green.
They are green.
Okay.
But they go on dropping the leaves and changing the color from green to yellow and brown.
Yes.
And when you reach the garden, to show that it is ready, when you hit it, it makes noise and sound like that. You see?
Okay.
But when it is not ready, like this one here, it can't make noise.
Yes.
And even these ponds are still green,
Yeah.
as an indicator that it is not ready. So we have to wait so that most of the crops mature enough and we start uprooting it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you come across any challenges
Yes.
as you're doing this work?
Yes. There are many challenges in that for me I have my plow, but most of my members in the group don't have, and it is costly for them to hire people to do what? To plow for them. Another challenge are the pests. The pests fold these leaves like this. You can find a garden where the leaves are folded, and most of the farmers don't know the pesticide to use to do what? To spray. But for us who are sensitized, know what we use.
So how long does it take for us to have a ready seed?
A ready seed. It's 120 days.
120 days.
Yes.
Approximately 3 months and 10 to 20 days.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, how do you harvest?
Harvest, we usually use, there is a knife we use, but for this case, like this one here,
Okay.
termites have already eaten the roots. They are in the ground. They are those you catch like this and they get off. Okay. But for these ones which are still down, we use a knife to cut or a panga.
Okay.
Because we need the nodules to remain in the ground.
Okay.
To add the nutrients to the soil.
So you only cut the upper bit?
Yes.
And leave the roots inside?
Yeah.
How about if you want to grow again? Can you use this garden consecutively, or you have to maybe give it some space or grow in something else?
Anyway, it is far better that way if you have land. But when you don't have enough land, you can use it.
Okay.
But
so
preferably, it's better to change. You can put here another crop,
okay,
and the soya bean to another area.
So we are going to look at what happens after you have finished growing and harvesting, and then what do you do? How do you remove this bean from its shell?
For our case, after harvesting, as you have seen, we carry the plants at home. We carry our products at home. We have tarpaulins where we spray, and when they are dry, we hit with small sticks in order to remove the seeds from the ponds.
Harvesting is the last important operation to be considered for the production of good quality seed and grain. Timely harvesting of seed minimizes seed deterioration in the field, infestation by insects, and losses from physical damage. Soybean requires reliable rainfall, particularly from flowering to pod maturity, and it is also a good crop to grow in rotation with cereals. Different pre-planning factors should be taken into account because they influence eventual soybean establishment, quality and quantity of seed or grain. Hello, I am Maureen. Join me on The Sprouts, a platform for agriculture and industrialization on UBC TV. Learn, innovate knowledge and practical skills as we transform our agriculture produce into high-value products on The Sprout.
With me is Mr. Ochan Lawrence. He's very passionate about supporting smallholder farmers, but I would like to hear from him. Where did you draw your inspiration?
Yes, thank you, Maureen. I'm Mr. Lawrence Ochan,
Yes.
the production manager of Sesaco
Okay.
Limited. Among so many raw materials that we use to run our system, our factories in the manufacturing process, soybean contributes over 60% of the total raw material that we use. Others include maize, rich iron beans, fresh orange sweet potatoes, millet, groundnut, sesame, and others. All these are farm produce. Why we particularly pick interest into soybean agronomy is because it drives the biggest volume of our raw material intake. Previously, before we got in touch with the farmers directly, some years ago, we have been dealing with the middlemen who could go and source from farmers and deliver the grain to us in the factory. However, in dealing with middlemen as the player in between us, the manufacturers and people who are adding value, and the farmers, we face a number of challenges. One, we could not control quality from the source. A middleman will collect every sort of soybean in the farm and deliver. Yet our manufacturing processes targets few varieties of soybean, which are directly nutrition or nutritious soybean with high protein content and low oil. Number two, delivery time, the lead time. The time you may need a certain volume of soybean, it may not be the time that the middleman is delivering for you what you want. Number three is the volume. You may be expecting or projecting a very big volume at a particular time, but harvest of that particular season is low.
Okay.
So in this case, we have been missing out in market and getting our projection in terms of production, we've not been achieving very well. So it is on that background that we thought of dealing directly with the farmers who are supported by us, putting into consideration the attributes of climate change, which is having significant impact on agricultural productivity. We cannot clearly forecast when rain will begin. We cannot tell how long will rain. We cannot tell how long will the sunshine or drought season persevere or prevails in a season. We cannot tell what kind of pests and diseases will be rampant given the weather condition based on the amount of rain or sunshine received in a particular season. So in this case, we sought partnership with SNV and a craft program to give us support to implement climate smart agriculture with the farming communities in this area and other districts that we're operating in to boost agricultural productivity that will make us get enough volume of raw materials to drive our growing demand in the processing plant. And secondly, when we work with farmers and implementing the climate smart practices, we are very sure of optimizing productivity in a given piece of land. And secondly, the farmer gets the decent price that they deserve, that impact directly on their livelihood. We don't want to see ourselves as a company growing, but farmers continue suffering.
Okay.
We want to grow as farmers also grow by paying them decently and linking them to genuine input supplies that sometimes cuts the cost of their production and increases the margin of their profits that transforms into better income and saving and also other investment that improves the life of the smallholder farmers.
Okay.
Basically, that is what drives us to come and work directly with the farmers. The kind of support we are giving to the farmers is the training in climate smart practices, which include the farmer field school, like it was explained by some expert we met before, our agronomists, field agronomists, where farmers learn themselves from the field in different stages of crop growth. By so doing, our station field extension officers who work with them empowers them right in the field. Because we don't want to own the knowledge. We want to pass the knowledge to the farmers that even at the end of this project, farmers should have acquired knowledge, practical knowledge that will keep them in the value chain of soybean production and getting better market and feeding their family decently, as opposed to the practice of growing sugarcane, which was very rampant in this place, which come with very heavy fertilizer applications and insecticide that impact onto the soil acidification. The higher the soil acidification, the lower the productivity of the soil. So with our farmers, we are not giving them chemical fertilizers for application in the farms, in the fields. We are giving them rhizobia, which is a free-living bacteria that fixes nitrogen in the soil. And with a good harvest practices, where we encourage our farmers, like you see, the plant is dry, we don't encourage the practice of uprooting. We advise or we train our farmers to cut and remain, the bacteria remain in the soil. And when you cut, and the second plowing, you plow this bacteria back, and note that soybean is a leguminous crop. So this one keeps the fertility of the soil recycling and keeping the small piece of land productive for a long period of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you coping up? Are they responding positively? Because they have been so used to, growing sugarcane, like you said.
Yeah.
But then they have been having a challenge of the output after a very long time. So now that you are trying to usher them into this golden seed, I call it the golden seed, but it is soybean.
Yeah.
How are they responding?
The response is positive in a way that we take the farmers through the cost-benefit analysis. We don't want, we are taking our farmers through the program we are calling farming as a business, where the farmers, we sit with them and take them through cost calculation.
Okay.
What do you need to put into the farm? From the time of opening up the land to secondary plowing, planting, buying the seed, weeding, harvesting, and bulking. What do the farmer put in? We take them through, we break down this for them. And then secondly, we also show them what would be their margin. We fix the price, we sign the forward contract with the farmers. And we fix the price that even at the time when harvest is too high, we don't drop our price. We predetermine the price.
Okay.
That makes the farmer know at the end of the season, this is what I'm going to earn as my profit. So because of this, and with a lot of other subsidized input we are giving them, like seeds, which are very tolerant, drought tolerant, pest and disease tolerant, drying technologies like taplings that we supply with them, free extension service. The cost of production of soybean cuts very low, and they realize very decent profit at the end of the season compared to their traditional soybean, sugarcane practices, where you plant and you wait for about 18 months or 2 years before you harvest and sell. Here they are sure when I'm planting soybean, I would have harvested and sold over about 6 times before you harvest. So they are appreciating, and the response is very positive. We are keeping very close contact with them. Our extension officers are in every district where they are, working with them together. I see their response is very positive, and they're really realizing the benefit behind soybean plant.
Thank you for being a wonderful viewer of The Sprouts, a platform for agriculture and industrialization on UBC TV with me, Maureen Akatukunda. We looked at so many things in today's episode, among which is how we prepare land to grow this soya bean, how we handle it in the garden to its growth, how we harvest it, how we store it, and so much more, as you have seen in the episode. However, we still have so much more you need to learn about soya bean, especially when it comes to value addition. Stay tuned for our next developments about soya bean farming on The Sprouts.
Hello, I am Maureen. Join me on The Sprouts, a platform for agriculture and industrialization on UBC TV. Learn, innovate knowledge and practical skills as we transform our agriculture produce into high-value products on The Sprouts.